All right, so I couldn't withstand the FOMO of the QUBIC QS-BT1 belt tensioner. I have had it for a few weeks. It's definitely worth keeping. No regrets buying it. Am I going to be like the rest of the people on YouTube and say, oh my God, you have to go out and buy it and it's an essential piece of hardware for your sim racing rig? Absolutely not. It's definitely not essential. I enjoy it. It's fun. It adds to the immersion. Has it made me any faster? No. Am I fast to begin with? No. But I like it. It's fun, and I'm changing my chair because of it, and which is kind of the point of this video. It's revealed some deficiencies in my Next Level Racing ERS3 double locking recliner. For starters, the cutouts are too high for my shoulders. They should be here, and they're way up here, so that's a problem that I can't fix. I can't get taller. um, Two, I feel a lot of bouncing, and you can see just with braking, it doesn't bother me while I race, but the braking combined with this thing bouncing me all over the place led me to rebuy the NRG Prisma, which I had and I did a video on. I think it was September 2024, where I said it was probably the best sim racing bucket seat for under $400. Put my money where my mouth is. I bought it again, and I'm probably gonna keep it this time. I did also order the Next Level Racing ES2, which one guy on Reddit told me that he loves it. He has the QUBIC belt tensioner. I didn't get to see a video of him using it, but he does endorse it. So I want to try both of them. So let's do some laps. Let's see what it looks like. I haven't seen this yet either. I just feel it, so I'm curious myself. All right, so here we are on track. Really, braking is where you're going to see most of the deficiency of the recliner. Nothing against the RS3. It's not really made for this. It's made for comfort, which it excels at. It's the most comfortable chair I've ever sat in. I wouldn't dream of replacing it if it wasn't for this issue. I'm probably gonna miss the comfort, and I'm gonna have to mod the hell out of the NRG Prisma to make it, probably even half as comfortable. I'm just gonna brake. I'm just braking, just so that I have a nice sample set. So yeah, it's obvious that if you want a QUBIC belt tensioner or any belt tensioner, it would be ideal to not have a recliner. All right, I'll be back. All right, that was a humongous pain in the ass, and I'm still not done. I gotta lengthen or shorten the belts. Oh my God, this is a humongous difference. Let me tell you, first of all, having the belts at shoulder length increases the fidelity tenfold. And look at this Prisma. No flex at all. It's gonna kill me. Ugh. Look at look at that. Like almost zero flex. I mean, the only flex I think might be happening is just a little bit. I mean, it's markedly improved. I definitely have a lot of adjusting to do now because my knees are hitting my wheel base piece of profile that's holding the front mount. As you can see that. Yeah, I got a lot of tinkering to do. But yeah, it's crushing me. Like that's crushing me. Also, I have the fifth point in between my crotch, and I'm gonna be a soprano by the time I'm done with this. I don't know. It's cool having that hole under the seat to pull the fifth point up through, but I really think that's necessary. The other seat didn't have that, and I just had it threaded up the front of the seat, and it keeps it off your boys. And I think that's going to be necessary. The other problem I'm having is I added a little bit of padding to the NRG seat cushion, and these roller things are cutting into my shoulder, so I either have to get rid of those or lower myself somehow. But oh my God, yeah, that's really intense. Oh yeah, that's something else. It's a huge difference with a bucket seat, and a huge difference with the cutouts being at your shoulder level. Huge. Maybe one day I'll just be able to race and I will stop messing with all this stuff. I mean, constantly tinkering. Someday. You know, the only reason why I got the gold one is because it has that 5th point. If I decide to keep a Prisma, I might go through the trouble of returning, and if I don't want to use that 5th point because it's castrating me right now. Yeah, that's something else. You can see it's a huge difference. You can even see what it's doing to me, and the seat isn't moving at all now. So I'm glad because it was worth the effort. I'm gonna have to tone that down. Ugh. I'm watching the seat myself. Yeah. Wow. This is so, you know, people spend $800 to $1,000 to get a rigid seat. This is pretty damn rigid for $360. Jesus. I feel like I'm being bounced around, but looking at the camera, I don't see any bouncing around. It's just bouncing me. The seat belts are bouncing me around, but they're not bouncing the seat around. Which, that's got to be where all the extra fidelity is coming from, in conjunction with the recommended shoulder height cutouts. I had to shed my hoodie. I was sweating my ass off trying to get this damn chair on. Oh my god. Oh. Jesus. Oh. Well, NRG Prisma and QUBIC QS-BT1 go together very well, and I'm super impressed with the rigidity of this bucket seat. All right, I'll be back with the ES2. Probably not tomorrow because I'm gonna have to take a day off from this and ice my balls. All right, here's the ES2 from Next Level Racing, their newest bucket seat. Let's just do some braking. I'll get the braking out of the way first, and then I'll talk a little bit about my opinion on the seat. If you don't want to hear that, then you can skip after the braking. So obviously, nowhere near as much flex as the ERS3, but while the NRG Prisma had almost imperceptible flex, this has perceptible flex. You can see it right there. I'm not very fond of this 2-shell design. It was pretty jank putting it together. The side holes didn't hardly line up at all. I only have 2 hands, as most people do, but it took 4 hands, which I didn't have, because you have to somehow hold the 2 sides, you know, twisting them so that the holes line up, and then you need another hand to hold the bolt and another hand to drive the bolt. And somehow I managed to do it alone, because God forbid somebody in my house comes down and helps me. We wouldn't want them to miss any screen time. But anyways, yeah, not a fan. And if maybe somebody can enlighten me, what's the benefit of a 2-shell design? Because the only benefits I can see are for the manufacturer. I don't see how it could benefit the consumer in any way. One assumption I had, maybe it makes it cheaper, but there are single shell bucket seats for sale that are cheaper than $500, and you know, the Prisma being a prime example of that, and it's significantly more rigid. I wonder that if under the stress of prolonged use of the belt tensioner, if these bolts points might become a point of weakness. When I initially screwed it together, some of the bolts were hard to drive, even though they had threaded, you know, 3/4 of the bolt smoothly, and you know, I wondered if they were going to strip. Eventually I hit home, and then after I used it, I went back and checked them all, and they needed some more tightening. So I don't know if they loosened, or if just by using it, it kind of freed the rest of the thread up a little bit. But it did wind up going together, but it wasn't easy, and I could see how some people might just give up and be like, I'm not spending $500 for something that isn't very easy to put together. So that's negative number one. Number two, you can see in some other people's videos, there's a lot of lateral twist. The people who have this mounted to their V3 motion platforms, there's lots of twisting. And I'm surprised at this, because if I worked at Next Level Racing and I did these Instagram posts, I would make sure that when I was getting in and out of the chair, I didn't lean on it, because if you look at some of their shorts, they get in and they lean on it, and the whole thing just like bends backwards while they're putting their weight on it to get in. I mean, personally, I don't think that's a very good advertisement for it. But so I guess the flex with the belt tensioner, which isn't normal use, if we're being honest. Let me pause the belt tensioner, and I'll just brake.
Locking USB enhancement.
So it's locked now. So there's your braking flex. There's, with me not pushing as hard, maybe 80% brake, and now 100% brake. So there's your regular flex without the belt tensioner.
USB enhancement devices from pause mode.
Now, the benefit of this chair, and I think this is their focus, is comfort. This is by far, out of the box, way more comfortable than the Prisma. And I think I probably said it in the ERS3. The ERS3 is the most comfortable chair I've ever sat in. It's just a shame it's not meant for this application, because I would have loved to have just kept that. So if your focus and your priority is comfort over rigidity, and you can deal with a little bit of jank putting it together, then this is an easy recommendation, because it's super comfortable. Now maybe if I didn't see this, I may or may not feel it. Maybe it wouldn't bother me as much, but I'm not happy with the two shell design, and I'm not happy with the amount of flex. And then the other thing, actually, I didn't bring up, was the cutouts are like 1.5 inches thick versus, I don't know, less than 1 inch on the Prisma, 1/2 inch. And I don't know if it seems to matter with the fidelity of the FFB, because this chair doesn't feel a lot as alive as the NRG did. Like, I feel like with the NRG, now there is a caveat to that. Because these are so thick, the included anti-friction inserts don't fit. So it could be that. It could be that I don't have anti-friction inserts installed. So I'm gonna be going with the Prisma, because, and this is why. First of all, it's cheaper. It's $140 cheaper. So I feel like you're getting a more rigid seat and a nice looking, but I think it's better looking too than this Hydro Dip, especially since there's that giant seam and the bolts all over it. And it's for $140 cheaper. It's more rigid. It's one piece. The whole thing's Alcantara instead of this pleather hybrid. And you can make the Prisma comfortable, but you can't make this more rigid, and you can't make this one piece. So for the $140 I'll save, I'll buy whatever cushions I need to make that thing comfortable. Now, some of you might say, why don't you get a Sparco? Why don't you get, a Sabelt or Subelt, whatever you say, or whatever. Now, I could, but I live in Western New York. There's no place to go sit in those things. And I'm not spending $800 to have a chair show up that feels like shit, doesn't fit me. The cutouts are too high, cutouts are too low. I'm not driving a real race car. I'm just a sim racer. I don't want to spend $800 on a seat. If I could sit in a seat and it felt like heaven and it was perfect and I knew it was perfect, I would drop the money on that. But for now, I'm impatient. I'm not going to wait And I'm not going to deal with having to return stuff that's going to cost a fortune to return. I hate wasting money. I don't mind spending money. I hate wasting money. And in restocking fees, shipping back, all that stuff. So I'm going with the Prisma. I really wanted this to be the one, but it's not. It's not cutting the No Pro Dave high standards. And you know, there's no reviews for this thing other than people that got it for free. I actually reached out to them to see if they'd send me one, and they said thanks but no thanks. And I would have shilled for them. I would have given a completely biased positive review if I got one for free. But no, this way I can stay completely unbiased by spending my own money. I mean, it's not against them. The ERS3 is amazing. I love it. I would never say a bad thing about that chair. I think it's a great chair. But after that chair came out, they came out with the 4, the 5, and then the P series. They came out with like 5 different chairs within like 2 months after I bought the ERS3. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see an ES2 Plus or an ES3 that's a single shell design. That's another reason why. And God, I'm really bagging on this thing. One more thing. I have these $100 Next Level Racing brackets. I already had them because I at one point had the RS3 side mounted to it with profile. This chair isn't really even compatible. Like, where am I going? This here, you can only use like the top 2 holes, and then this comes in contact with the seat. So what's the point of having all this adjustability, and then you make a chair that isn't compatible with it? You know, somebody's going to go spend $100 on the Next Level Racing brackets, and you can't even use, 50%, or more of the adjustable slots. Yeah, I don't know. I think they got to go back to the drawing board on this one. So this is probably a long ass video. I'm going to put timestamps. I probably should say this in the beginning, but I'm going to put timestamps for just the braking zones for each chair. And then if you want to listen to me ramble, you're more than welcome to. All right. Very good. Thanks for watching. Hope that this helps somebody make a decision on what bucket seat to get for the QUBIC QS-BT1, which, if you have the money, is highly worth it. If you don't have the money, don't steal money from your kids' college fund or Christmas money or birthday money to buy this for yourself, because it's not that essential. It's fun. It's immersive. I wouldn't give it back. I've had no buyer's remorse, which I think a lot of us are prone to when you spend a lot of money. Not one hint of buyer's remorse. I have lost no sleep over this purchase. But I would also, on the other hand, or conversely, not run out and say, you must get this. It's the greatest thing you could possibly add to your sim rig. It's great, but it's not essential. It's fun. It's a toy. It's a very expensive toy. And if you can afford it, go for it. Have fun with it. But if you can't, just keep racing and have fun. All right, I think that's enough. Thank you very much for watching. I hope it helps somebody make a decision on what sim racing bucket seat to get for the QUBIC QS-BT1 belt tensioner. Goodbye.